And thank you to David Craig, our candidate for governor. I appreciate it. Nice to see you. As you well know, I rarely, if ever, write a speech. I wrote one here. I probably won't stick to it for more than a few minutes, so bear with me if I get off script. I enjoy that. Again, thank you all for coming out. It really does mean more to me than you know. Looking around at the faces in here, you know, the Shafts, the Vandervoorts, Mark, Marcia, everybody in the room, Alex, Dave Blanche, who I actually met when my intro into politics in the Severna Park Elephant Club a long time ago. It means the world to me. This is really touching, so thank you so much. And for all the help in our last campaign as well. But most importantly, thank you to Paula for putting up with me for as long as she has. Yeah, she deserves the real round of applause. She's been a rock for me, and her story, for those who followed me in the last campaign, you've probably heard it quite a bit. It's very inspirational for me as well. And my two daughters who couldn't be here today. My 1-year-old doesn't really understand press conferences, so and believe me, you wouldn't understand her either. She's quite a trip up here, so we had to leave her home with a babysitter. For those of you who don't know me here from the press, my name is Bongino. I was born and raised in a working class family in New York City. We lived above a bar, listened to a lot of Elton John on the jukebox. I still hate that song, Daniel, but I like Elton. Yeah, I hear it every night. It was tough to go to sleep. We lived paycheck to paycheck, folks. We were as middle class gets, and even middle class may have been a stretch sometimes. You know, I remember what it was like even to this day, going to bed hungry at night. And that's a feeling you can't fake, and it's a memory you can't fake either. It leaves scars that are permanent. But it was a formative experience for me. That constant want of even bare necessities really shapes a human being, and it made me who I am today. I know Paul has lived through similar experiences. But even though we faced a lot of tough challenges as a family growing up, my mother was a rock for us. She used to work at a checkout counter at a supermarket next door, and we were latchkey kids, but as much love as she could spare, she gave us, and she did a great job. I also learned the importance of faith in something bigger than yourself. You know, my faith in God is real. It anchors you in something more important than us and the people in this room, than us as individuals. It gives you a different reason. It gives your country a different meaning to exist. That's always anchored me, and Paul and I, our faith has taken on a new meaning. Ironically enough, we're watching that show, The Bible, and it just kind of, I don't know if those of you who've seen it, it was just an incredible series. It really just refocuses you on what's really important. Through all of it, I learned the importance of hard work, perseverance, responsibility, and the fact that, you know, folks, we're all here for each other to give a boost. You know, catch us when we're falling. But I'm not here to rely on you, and you shouldn't be here to rely on me either. We should always help people in need, always, for the richest country in the world. But we can't be solely reliant on the goodwill of others who frankly have to spend a lot of their time in tough times supporting themselves and their own families. It's a tough time, and that individual responsibility and that sense of personal empowerment I learned has got me through to this day. We've had some really tough times, Paul and I. The decision to leave the Secret Service was not an easy one. It was very difficult, folks. To give up every bit of financial security you had and every bit of financial security you're ever going to have was not easy. It was my decision. We'll be fine. Our small business is doing quite well. But it was tough. That drive for public service led me to the New York City Police Department, where I spent 4 years, 2 as a cadet, 2 as a police officer. I enjoyed it, but it definitely opened my eyes, folks. You know, it's one thing to talk about a lot of our social policies as intentions. It's another thing to see those policies as actual results. It was another formative experience in my life, and I can't say enough about it. When you're in neighborhoods that are really struggling, with people who are really struggling, and you're talking to people every day, you see for real the damage some poorly driven, poorly designed government policies can do. That's real pain, folks. That's not a novel, that's not a soap opera, it's not a TV series. Those are real people who are really struggling in real time, in real life. And poorly designed social programs that don't help but harm are some of the cause of that. I lived in it. I was embedded in it every day. In a testament, though, to the power of our nation, folks, there's a promise here. There's a unique promise here. There's a unique promise in the United States that if you do the right thing, you work hard, you pursue a path of educational fulfillment, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, willing to get a little dirt underneath your fingernails. This place is unique, right here, right now, in this time. We are different. We have always been different. This country is not like every other country. That is not conceit or arrogance, but it is fact. We are exceptional. Because this place has a series of very simple paths forward. But that path's been obstructed. Right now, folks, promise is slipping away. We have tons of citizens. We have 46 million Americans right now. I'm even staggered. I underlined the number twice here just because it's hard for me to even believe. 46 million Americans living in poverty. How is that? In the richest country on earth, a country that, think about this, decades ago, had a man walking on the moon. I mean, put that in perspective. Now we have 46 million Americans who are struggling to get by. What went wrong? The answer is government. Government went wrong. Middle-class families continue to see their wages go down year after year. Millions of our fellow Americans are out of work or stopped looking, even worse. Here in Maryland alone, 200,000 of our citizens are unemployed. Unforgivable, folks. We have the government in our backyard. That is absolutely unforgivable. Many more are underemployed or stuck with part-time jobs. They can't fulfill their own American dream as they just struggle to get by. Our economy is stagnant. Our country's going bankrupt, folks. And our political leaders lack the will and the courage, I added that because I mean it, to solve the country's biggest challenges. Friends, Maryland's been my home for over a decade. My 2 children were born here. I bought my first home here. We didn't intend to. We intended to buy in Annapolis. We wound up in Serena Park. We found the home by mistake. We've been here for 12 years. I can't stand by, and I know you can't either, and watch this slip away. I refuse to do that. And unfortunately, folks, a lot of it's due to misguided policies in government, not due to the entrepreneurship and the individual will to succeed that our American people have. We're being governed by a class of politicians and bureaucrats, folks, that are treating your wallet as an expense account. You know, folks, I don't mind, and I know you don't either, paying our taxes to fund a government that reinforces your individual liberty. That's a real thing, your ability to choose. You know, the fact that we can fund a corruption-free court system, that we can fund our military, adds to your liberty. It doesn't take away from it. But funding a cowboy poetry festival in Nevada, folks, does not add to your economic liberty. It's your wallet. It's not theirs. You worked for it. Those calluses on your hands are yours, not theirs. They are public servants. Again, folks, we're being governed by this group of out of touch, and I mean out of touch. I saw it in my time in the Secret Service. Elites who care more about the next election than saving the next generation. Can you imagine if this is the best it's ever going to be? We have never thought that way here. If you live in Cuba, your car was the best you ever had. Who in this room's ever thought that? That the Chevy Tahoe or your Ford Escape, that was the best car you were ever going to have, and your kids were going to have one that had less features than yours. Can you imagine that tomorrow? I got news for you. That is normal everywhere else. Not here. We have a jobs crisis, folks, in our state and our country. Compassion through intentions is no longer the answer. You know, we've heard the president's good intentions.